Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Out of the Ice podcast.
Hey everybody, it's another beautiful day, and like any beautiful day, we
Are
stood
stuck inside.
watching more movies.
Yep, this time it's another childhood classic, and another Disney movie. I'm not trying to do all Disney movies. That's not what I'm trying to do, but it's not my fault that there's such a huge conglomerate Akira nightmare of a company that they keep swallowing up everything, and also they just make a lot of movies.
And you made a good point the other day with the merger that happened recently, and just Disney just has taken everything.
Yeah.
Everything wasn't necessarily Disney when you were a wee one.
Yeah, and it's not even like this is a new thing of Disney. I mean, let's be honest here. The original idea of Epcot was to be a closed community of scientists and corporation moguls to essentially figure out how to take over the world. So,
And then it became a place where tourists can yell at high school students because they accidentally cut in line for a pretzel.
pretzels.
It's weird. That's like the two memories that stick out. I remember liking Epcot, but the two memories that stick out the most is the drunk dad that yelled at me because I accidentally cut him in line for a pretzel, and I'm waiting an hour in line for a churro.
See, the funny thing is, I figured you'd like Epcot because when we went to Disneyland, one of your favorite rides was Soarin'.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they put it in Disney World, in
Oh.
Epcot. Oddly, it's in Future World instead of near World Showcase. But then again, thanks to the revision, Future World is basically stopping existing. They're making it something that's more general and like more. I don't want to say vague, but it's like more open to interpretation for multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is because when making Future World, they essentially just made a second Tomorrowland. And the problem with Tomorrowland is that tomorrow always comes, turns into today, and then forever is yesterday. So it's very hard to keep a world with the name Tomorrowland up to date
Yeah.
as an idea of the future. Which is why so many Tomorrowlands now are doing stuff like, oh, it's steampunk future, or a idealized version of the 50s future, or something like that. That way it's something that can be more concrete.
Okay.
But anyway, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, aside from the fact that I'm surprised that you don't remember World Showcase.
Yeah.
Or Maelstrom in Norway. My heart goes out to that ride, for it is dead.
Oh.
Frozen killed it.
Oh, fuck.
Mm,
Oh, guys, he's hurting.
that was my favorite ride in Epcot.
Oh.
And they fucking put Elsa in it. And the funny thing is, before that, I wasn't in on the Frozen hate. I didn't like the movie. I thought that, it was not nearly as groundbreaking as people seem to think it was. But I didn't hate it. And then they fucked with Maelstrom.
Frozen, also the worst Kingdom Hearts 3 world. It just
That's also
dragged and dragged.
But I don't think that that's Square Enix's fault. I think that's just because like Disney was working on Frozen 2 during the time and they didn't want it to fuck up any canon or lore or something.
Hmm.
They didn't want it to diverge and cause brand confusion. So it's just like, just do the movie. Whatever. But yeah.
Oof. But yeah, now that we were derailed to talk about Disney, so the movie we chose it's probably gonna end up derailing to us sharing dog stories, because you have a dog you remember fondly. I have dogs back at my parents' house that I remember fondly, and I'm just gonna be like, oh, Buck did that thing. Or it's how quickly is this going to become dog stories with Scott and Kat?
For me, not at all.
Really, you're gonna?
Because I actually have memories of this movie. Because what we're talking about is another childhood classic, Homeward Bound, An Incredible Journey. Or The Unforgettable Journey, rather. Or is it... No, I think it's An Incredible Journey.
No, it's The Unforgettable Journey. I spelled it wrong in my notes.
Is it?
But
Let me
yeah,
go check.
Yeah, go get that shit.
Hold on.
Ba-ba. stealing the movie back from my room.
You're wrong.
But
It's the incredible journey.
You're shitting me. How did I...
Take a look at the disc.
You're shit. What the fuck, Cats?
Knew it.
What?
I was right the first time.
What the fuck was I on when I put... What?
Maybe that's just how you felt about the movie. Unforgettable. But anyway, yeah, so we're talking about Homeward Bound, which I only just recently found out was a remake of a thing just called The Incredible Journey.
Yeah, and I was looking into that after I watched the movie, and they completely changed like all the characters' names too.
Well, yeah, because I don't think it's supposed to be the same characters. It's basically like a redo of the concept, which is why it has a different name, and then what it's inspired by is just the subtext.
Okay.
I think it's just like it's a remake of the concept and the idea behind, not necessarily the exact story. In fact, wasn't the original like done a lot more documentary style? Like it was narrated, or was it voiceovered?
I don't. I
Didn't get that far.
Nope.
Okay. But yeah, this is a movie that. Let's see, when did it come out?
1993.
1993.
It's as old as me.
Yeah. A year older, isn't it?
I'm a 93 baby.
I thought you were 94. But yeah, like this is something that I remember watching in preschool. Like literally the Baptist church that also had preschool classes in it, because why not? They had a gymnasium they didn't use. So, just have preschool, and every once in a while just take the kids aside and be like, all right, so there was this dude named Jesus. And the funny thing was, because I'm stupid, and at the time, I don't think I quite understood what a church was, because I never called it a church. I called it the preschool.
Yeah.
It would just happen to be at a place called church. I thought some of them, like the stories that were less, fantastical and supernatural, were just history, like more history, like, the really shitty version of Columbus that they were teaching at the time, or or just fairy tales. I didn't know it was religious text.
And I think that's like their intention, like maybe not their intention, but that's what they're I don't know.
No, I feel like it would have meant more to me if it's like, yeah, and this is a religion, because like I don't even think they got to the point of like, oh yeah, and Jesus, he died for your sins or anything like that. It was just like, oh, there was this dude named Noah, he was pretty chill. Like it was very much like just religion was just there at times, just over there. We'll touch on it sometimes, but it's weird. Like it was in a church, but it wasn't incredibly churchy.
Okay.
But I watched multiple things that had to do with talking animals in that thing, because you got something that you need to, it's movie day or something. Gotta have something that you're gonna watch for the kiddos.
Keep them sitting for as long as possible.
They like animals.
Yeah, kids like animals. This
So
is family
it was
friendly.
Homeward Bound. Oliver and Company was watched a lot. But I didn't pay attention to Oliver and Company nearly as much, even though I like that movie, because I had it at home.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I could watch this anytime. I don't need to. And then Wishbone, which was a TV show about a dog who really liked reading. What's the story, Wishbone?
And my mom will tell me, because basically all I watched for the first several for my tiny childhood, all we really had was PBS at first, and I guess my mom said Wishbone was my favorite show. Like I watched that religiously. Don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, because apparently you just got abducted by aliens and had a fucking brain wipe at some point in your childhood.
I guess.
Because I've also found out her mom made it known that she watched Nightmare Before Christmas multiple times. And before she had divulged that information, Kat was under the assumption that she'd never seen a clip of it. At all.
I don't remember.
That movie that is still in Hot Topics and Spencer's Gifts to this day is seen as a crowning jewel of like emo and goth culture. You know, like Tim Burton's one of his masterpieces. You know, that cultural touchstone of the modern era. She's seen it multiple times, didn't remember it. Like, I feel like you entering teenagedom was like how they described it in that Fairly Odd Parents TV movie, where it's just like Timmy Turner gets turned into a teenager and he's just like, wait, what happened? Why can't I remember anything?
Oh.
Just absolutely forgets everything.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's bad.
But yeah, so this movie is about a doggo, another doggo, and a kitten. It's a golden retriever, a pit bull, I believe?
An American bulldog.
Bulldog. Okay, I was close. And then I don't know what the fuck Sassy is.
Himalayan cat.
Yeah. She is a cat.
There's-
Cats don't have breeds, they have personalities.
It's my cat's breed is Sassy. My cat's breed is Scrim.
Yeah. Like it. But yeah, so it is a Disney movie, which by the way, for the longest time, didn't know it was a Disney movie. Because just
It's a dog movie. You don't think Disney and think.
well, no, it's because you know when you're a kid, when you think Disney, you think animated movies.
Yeah, it's a live action puppers.
Yeah, which now that might be slightly different because Disney seems to be like, let's remake everything into live action for some reason. Yeah, you know, let's turn these cartoons where you can do literally anything into live action where you're so much more limited.
Yeah.
I don't understand the thought process. The only thing I can think of is that they're trying to drive it off of celebrity power, but you can just have a celebrity voice act and it'll do the exact same thing. And also, just because a celebrity's name is known doesn't mean they're a good fit for the role. Will Smith. I like you, Will Smith, but you were really shitty as the genie. Because you weren't fit for the role. It's not a role for you. Like, that role was literally created originally with Robin Williams in mind. And you cannot get further in comedy stylings from Robin Williams to Will Smith. They're completely different.
And don't get me wrong, like Robin Williams, like it would be like near impossible to surpass like how he did the genie, but still, they could have picked way better than Will Smith. I think I remember even seeing stuff where Will Smith was talking about like, there's no way I can be a better genie than Robin Williams. So I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to do my own thing. And it's like, I mean, I'm glad that you're aware of it. I don't know why Disney's not. and I still don't get this. Disney, before home release was a thing, in fact, even when home release was a thing, because they didn't do it for a while. They just didn't. Instead, every 7 years, they would just re-release movies. Mm-hmm. Like every 7 years, after their initial theater release, they just come to theaters again. And that is why you see so much stuff of like, oh yeah, Pinocchio was a huge hit in theaters. Wasn't the first time around, but the second, third, fifth, fourth, like all that stuff, it kept garnering more and more attention. It was like a event every 7 years. Hey, there's a Disney movie back in theaters. And that just became the Disney Vault thing where, you know, things would go into the Disney Vault. Every once in a while, they'd come back out for home release. And even then, they would still do stuff where, like, I remember, I think when I was a teenager, there was an event where Lion King came back to theaters. And it did really well. Because there was people who grew up with Lion King who now had kids of their own and wanted their kids to experience it on the big screen. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, and all of these movies would still do well in theaters, what the fuck is the point of spending tens of millions of dollars recreating them when you could literally just maybe touch up a few things or anything like that, maybe not even do that if it's from the Renaissance era, and just put them back in theaters? Easy money.
Like, absolutely easy money. I don't. It's not like, doing that means you have less merchandising. No, it doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Like, I mean, motherfuckers, you haven't done anything with the Aristocats since you had them cameo in House of Mouse. There are still plushies of Aristocats in the parks, and people still buy them. Little kids will still buy them, even though they don't know the character, because they're like, oh, look, kitty. Like, it doesn't matter. You'll still make money off of it. So this whole idea of this, the only thing I can think of is that it has something to do with copyright. That is the only thing I can think of, is that they're trying to refresh a copyright, or they're trying to, like, maybe, but it feels like it hasn't been long enough for that to be the case. Because, like, at this point, you basically have to wait a lifetime after a person who created a work dies for it to enter the public domain at this point. And guess who made that? Disney. Because they keep lobbying to make it longer and longer and longer for things to enter the public domain, because they don't want to have to chance it that Mickey could go into the public domain.
Yeah.
And then they would have to pay to reserve and lease the rights to continue solely owning the rights to Mickey Mouse. And they're like, no, we shouldn't have to do that. So there's a very easy solution to this. Just have the laws change where it doesn't add any more time. But if the company who originally created the character, or originally, like, manufactured the character, is still actively using it, then it doesn't go into the public domain. Like, the timer doesn't start until they stop using it. Meaning, Mickey, who still is in cartoons, is all over the fucking parks, is the mascot of the company, would not be threatened to go into the public domain. There you go. Like, but, something where they haven't used it in a long time, like fucking, I don't know, Popeye. When was the last time you heard something being done with Popeye? Boom, into the public domain. Like, anybody can use Popeye now. Or, something like that. That would be an easy way to do it. And I think that it would be a much cleaner way to do it. But I'm sorry, I'm getting on a diatribe like I always do, because I have a very love-hate relationship with Disney. I love them and I hate them, and every time I talk about them, I feel like Smeagol.
God. So we got ready to watch this movie, and for whatever reason, because normally I'm not one for, like, movies about just animals, because you just get attached to the animals, and I always worry, like, usually with any other movie I get worried. I'm like, is the dog going to die? Because that is my biggest concern about this movie. There are 3 animals on the cover of this movie. 3. A good golden boy, a good bulldog, and a kitty cat. You'd think,
at least one of them's got to live, right?
I don't want any of them to die.
Well, I mean, this movie was made in 1993, so too late.
Oh, shut up.
I'm just saying.
I know.
The actors are dead. They're very, very dead.
Oh.
Rip in peace.
But yeah, I didn't check to see whether the dogs died or not, like a amateur. But I adore, like, all the breeds that they picked for the doggos.
Yeah. I'm not as big of a fan of Chance, but that's just because I'm not a huge fan of bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
Their faces are slightly too close to pugs. They're not as bad, but they're getting scrunched at that point, and I'm just like, I don't know.
And I know it, and it's.
But Chance himself is pretty cute.
Because I like that they didn't, because, like, when I think of cute dogs, like, Chance is pretty cute, but, like, maybe because I grew attached to him, I'm like, oh, look at this personality. Like, I guess in my perspective, like, an American Bulldog wouldn't be a dog that I would automatically think, oh, what a cute pupper.
Yeah.
But they chose to have that breed as the main character. It was kind of nice.
One of them. I mean, they pretty much share the spotlight.
Yeah.
But it also helps that Marty McFly is the one giving him a voice.
Oh yeah, that's.
But yeah, and also apparently it's based on a book.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so, like, I was looking. I would have to look again for exact details, but like, so I guess the original movie was much closer to the book
Mhm.
as far as like using it as source material. Like it was a
Yeah.
lot closer, and then the movie just the remake just kind of did its thing. Kind of
I'm gonna bet
similarly.
you that if not in the first movie, then in the book, one of them fucking dies.
No.
Like, Sheila Burnford. That's a name of someone who kills a dog character. That's a dog character killer right there. Sheila Burnford. Yeah, no. That's someone who kills characters for emotional gut drop.
Oh. But yeah, like he got good old Chance just doing his own thing, being a little shithead because.
But no, seriously, Sheila Burnford.
Oh my god!
Like,
like what are some like.
Sheila Burnford sounds like the name of an author who would either A, make a Little House on the Prairie ripoff, or B, Victorian Harlequin romance novels. And they made a book about dogs. Those dogs are fucking dead.
Now I'm trying to think of like other authors.
What's in a name?
It's like other authors. I can't think of a specific book authors besides like J.K. Rowling.
Mary Shelley. Rick
Rick
Riordan.
See, now I'm thinking Suzanne Collins because I actually did meet her like back before she was cool. Before she wrote Hunger Games, she visited our middle school and we all got to like say hi to her and shake her hand and stuff.
Who's the bitch who wrote the Twilight fan fiction that became a thing? 50 Shades?
Yeah, I don't know the author's name.
Yeah. Apparently the girl who made Twilight is so not okay with that.
Oh yeah.
Just like so uncomfortable.
She like don't get me fan fiction don't get me wrong. Like I can understand alternate universes.
Also, but here's the thing.
I understand.
Here's the thing too. Fan fiction writers, if you're out there and you're listening, do you see the 50 Shades author as like a legendary hero? Because like they made something that was originally Twilight fan fiction, changed the names and scenario just a smidge, and then it got a 3-movie deal. Bestsellers, like all that stuff. Like that's the mecca right there, right?
Yeah,
like that's the peak of the mountain.
Like regardless of what you think of the god awful writing.
Yeah.
But like
My Immortal has better writing than 50 Shades.
Oh damn.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
But just I understand AUs. I understand like what's this scenario? How far removed is just the whole concept of 50 Shades of Grey from Twilight? It's so far removed.
Well, I was originally a lot less far removed.
Yeah. Oh, that's
But they
true.
had to change it up for legal reasons.
I wonder if
the dog movie.
Yes. Oh God, thank you.
It's another diatribe heavy episode this time.
Yeah.
But anyway, it starts off on Thanksgiving, which that's rare. No, does it?
No, I thought it was like the wedding.
No, yeah, it was the wedding. It ends on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Meaning this is a Thanksgiving movie. But yeah, so like it starts on the wedding. These kids have a new stepdad because their mom's getting married, and they have 3 pets. A older golden retriever named Shadow, which is weird.
Yeah, that is.
It's weird that it wasn't like a chocolate lab or something named Shadow.
The only thing I can think of would be like because Peter had Shadow for a long, like ever since he was a baby probably.
Yeah, but it's not like he would have been darker furred as a puppy.
Yeah, I wonder because I mean kids just name things stupid shit because they don't think.
No, that's not because I was a kid and
Scott,
had a dog.
Scott, you're a very different. You have a very, very. I don't know how to describe you. Your brain works differently.
But I'm just saying, like, what would cause that person to think of the name Shadow when looking at a bright golden
Because
dog.
it's a cool name.
But it doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't.
You know, it doesn't fit, and usually pet names fit. You know, you're not going to name a black cat, Light. No. The only thing that I could see you thinking that would be bright imagery is if you named a black cat Morningstar, and that's because you're calling it Satan. Because that was the devil's original name, Lucifer the Morning Star.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
actually that would be a pretty good name for a cat. Anyway,
okay, stop me. I'm brainstorming animal names.
Devil. But yeah, so there's Shadow, the golden retriever, who is old dog, and has a voice that sounds like a country western actor. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I didn't look up who it was. But then we've got Chance, who is a adolescent American bulldog. He's like just out of puppyhood. Like he's still a puppy, but he's not
he's not a tiny puppy. He's a big puppy.
Yeah, he's like that point where they're basically still a puppy, but they've also grown almost to full size.
Mm-hmm.
And he's rambunctious because he's from the pound, was living on his own, apparently was abandoned by a family at one point.
So just very obviously distrusting.
Yeah, distrusting, doing his own thing. And then there's Sassy the cat, which is again a name that fits. Like Chance and Sassy, their names both fit. Chance, because this family that he's trying to get back to is his second chance.
Yeah.
Sassy is a cat.
Need you say more?
Shadow doesn't fit. And that makes me think that originally it was supposed to be like a darker breed of dog.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, we can't find one that can do the things that we need. I don't know. Or maybe it was like getting lost in the camera footage, because there were some scenes that were at night. I don't know. But whatever. And I just think about these things because like I have written stuff, and when you're writing, especially when you're writing for something like this, you want the names to fit, which is why Chance makes so much sense. It's a second chance. He even points that out. At the end of the movie, it's like, oh, this family really could be my second chance. Ha ha ha. But and Sassy is a cat. But yeah, so whatever. So it's the wedding, and they have to go to, was it San Diego or San Francisco?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. They have to go to San Francisco for their dad's job, but it was like it's a temporary thing, apparently. Mm-hmm. Like it's a temporary assignment, has to go to San Francisco for, what was it, 6 months? But then it got longer, like it was basically a year.
No, I thought it was shorter than that.
I thought originally it was 6 months, and
I thought it was like 6 weeks.
6 weeks, that's what it was. 6 weeks, but then it got longer.
Yeah.
So like they have the dog the pet staying with a friend of theirs who owns a ranch. It's like, oh, plenty of room, all that stuff. But Shadow, being an old dog who is very attached to his humans, specifically Peter, who is his boy.
Yeah.
And he's like, they haven't come back yet. Chance is just like, oh, they abandoned us. It happens. And Shadow just will not believe it. It's like, nope, Peter wouldn't do that. He needs me.
It was breaking my heart, like when they were saying goodbye to the animals, and Peter's
and all
just
of them are crying.
Well, and Peter's just all sad and
doesn't want to leave him.
And Shadow's just like doesn't understand why Peter is sad. He just wants to comfort him. He's such a good dog.
Yeah, and even like as they're pulling away, he just goes, "Stay." But he eventually he's like, it's been too long, something's wrong, and something's wrong. Peter might be in trouble. I need to go get to him and make sure he's okay. So he just starts he just jumps a fence and
Yeah,
leaves.
Shadow just proves right there the old man still got some pep in him.
Yeah, he's just like, no, I'm done waiting. I'm leaving. I need to go. I need to go get to my human. He needs me. So he just leaves. Sassy leaves because Sassy wants to get back to her human, but also Sassy just trusts Shadow. Those two have been together in that house longer than Chance has.
Chance is like, I'm gonna be fine here. That's fine.
And then Birdzilla attacks. There's just this turkey. Chance has a weird relationship with turkey in this movie because at the start there's a turkey and he eats it, like he's trying to eat it. Then he gets attacked multiple times by a turkey, and then at the end it's Thanksgiving and he tries to go for another turkey.
Oh my god.
So it's just this weird back and forth. But yeah, there's a turkey. He calls it Birdzilla, and it starts coming after him because he was messing with the hen house, and he's like, screw it, I'll go with you guys. And that's basically the rest of the movie. Just the fallout of that decision of the dogs to be like, let's just go find our home. And the humans react, by obviously panicking. Because they're just like, oh my god, the pets are out there, like they start making like missing posters and all this stuff. Meanwhile, the dogs are just trying to get back home and are just surviving from the wilderness. Sassy at one point falls through a waterfall.
Somehow make it through okay.
Yeah, I guess missed the rocks. But yeah, that's a decently harrowing scene because it's just this like little cat, which I'm sure at some points was a puppet.
Oh yeah, like it looked like a puppet pretty much.
Well, there's some points where it doesn't. But like, and like Shadow's trying to get to her, but goes over the falls, and she's out for like a good 10 minutes at least.
A decent chunk, yeah.
Yeah,
she wasn't around for the big cat.
Yeah, and literally even when that guy finds her, like most people in the audience are like, oh, okay, she's fine, but that still looks like a dead fucking cat.
Yeah.
Just a freaking. It's like that scene in Pet Sematary where Judd just peels the cat off the ground. Except less.
Yeah.
But eventually Sassy wakes up and is like, "Oh, you're still alive," and she just bolts, basically. And
when she hears Shadow.
Yeah, she hears Shadow and Chance, and she's just like, "My boys." And the human just seems to understand. It's like, oh yeah, the barking. You must know those guys. Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping me company. And stuff like that. But in that meaning time, Chance and Shadow do some stuff. Yeah, they bond. Chance starts to understand why Shadow trusts humans so much and why he's so loyal. Getting some doggo wisdom. They fight off was it a cougar or a mountain lion? I think it was a mountain lion.
Maybe I can't tell that.
Anyway, they seesaw it into a river.
Which I love that because you had the scene earlier in the movie with Sassy on the seesaw.
Yeah. Some good foreshadowing and payoff. And so eventually they meet back up, and later on, like soon after that, Chance sees they see a bear.
Oh yeah, they see a bear before that.
Yeah, they see a bear before that, and they get chased off of it. And then later there's a hedgehog.
Oh
no, a porcupine.
That was probably like outside of a scene later. That was probably the hardest thing for me though. Like I didn't want to look at it like after the aftermath with Chance.
Yeah. It's just stuck on there with spirit gum. He's fine.
It's still I'm just like no.
He's fine.
No. The dog.
Fine. But yeah, so Sassy tries to get them off. They're not coming out. He has spines in his jowls or whatever those are called. So he's wounded. He's getting slower because of that. And at some point, they then find a lost little girl, meaning that they're closer to civilization. But also, there's just this girl who's lost, crying. Clearly got lost on some nature hike or something.
Mm-hmm.
And Shadow hears the crying first, because he's the best. And, also lucky because an American Bulldog, this girl probably would have freaked the shit out.
Yeah.
But a good boy, the goodest of boys,
Just
a golden retriever. At first she is still a little scared because it's just, what are you doing here? But then he just,
just kind of does
lays
like a
down,
does like a little paw thing, like, oh,
yeah,
hi,
lays
hi.
down, paws, and just sort of like burp, 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 closer,
Aww.
and to show he's not here to threaten her. And I think he even says, no, good dog. I'm a good dog.
Yeah.
And the little girl, of course, hugs him and starts crying into him. Doggo.
Yeah. You're scared, and here's this sweet doggo here to cheer you up.
Yeah. So he calls over Chance and Sassy, and they keep her warm for the night. And in the morning, once again, Shadow, being the best, hears a search party calling out for her, and goes and finds them. And the dad notices Shadow because he's like barking, and is like barking at the guy, turning his head, barking at the guy, like doing a step or something.
And Chance during this whole thing, Chance is uneasy because he doesn't want to involve more humans.
Yeah, and so he's like, the dad picks up, oh, this dog's trying to lead me somewhere, and they find the daughter. Of course, the family is reunited, and the search party, there are two cops there who have seen the missing posters. We're like, oh my god, these are the missing dogs. Mm-hmm. Like, these are those missing dogs. Well, now I guess they're not missing and hero dogs, And the dad is like, oh, like goes up to the dogs, is like, thank you for protecting my little girl. And I'm just like, they can't understand what you're saying, dude.
Barf?
But bark? Do I get treat? I found human. I found this for you. It will last you many dinners. Mm-hmm. And so they get hauled off. And I think, yeah, Shadow recognizes the word home. Because they're like, oh, let's get you guys home. Like, the cops say that. And it's like, home? Oh, Chance, they're going to bring us home. And they get to a road that they recognize, but they turn a different way. And it's like, wait, something's wrong. Home's that way. And it's a pound. And so this is Chance's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, come to life. He's back in the pound. And apparently he was in the pound long enough, and he was in a kill shelter, apparently. Mm-hmm. He was in there long enough that he recognized that there were dogs who went into the back room
and didn't come back.
And never came back. Now, it's possible that he was also confused and they were actually getting adopted, and they were like, doing stuff like that.
But
the implication is that they were being euthanized. And so, but the euthanasia area is also just where the medical table is. So it's not always bad. But understandably, because of that, Chance is freaking the fuck out because he's got the porcupine spines in him. They're taking him to the back room, and he's begging for help. He's like, Shadow, don't let them take me. Don't let them take me to the back room. Meanwhile, Sassy escapes, and sneaks into the pound via like a skylight or something, and busts Shadow out. Like, at this point, these animals are starting to evolve by how clever they are. Like, they're picking locks and shit.
Yeah.
And so they Chance gets all the stuff pulled off of him, but like he's screaming because it hurts.
They're killing him, Sassy.
Yeah, they're killing him, Sassy. Hurry. And so finally, Shadow has to he bangs on the door. And that confuses the guy. It's like, what are you doing out here? And, he starts to open it to try to get Shadow back in its pen. But Shadow, hits the door as soon as it's open, knocks the guy into the wall, giving Chance a chance to escape. And they bust out of there. just as their humans go to pick them up. And so then they get to the outskirts of the town. They're in a train yard, and it's just like, oh, it's just a little bit ways, back to home. And Shadow falls in a hole, a deep hole, a deep muddy hole that was in the train yard. I think like some wood falls on him and shit like this. And he hurts his leg.
Yeah, watching like him just laying there and struggling. I'm like, no.
And this is the part where I start pantomiming the old yeller gun.
And I'm like,
nah, Ma, he was my dog.
Saying, just leave without me, and that's the moment when I realize I fucked up, and I'm just
didn't look at does the dog die?
I didn't check to see if the dog dies. I'm like, no, he's old.
Yeah, and in fact, Peter even gives up on his dog. He's like, because it cuts away. Chance is trying to like get Shadow out of the hole, and Shadow's just basically giving up. And it cuts away to the family, and you hear Chance, or is it Sassy first? It's one of the two first.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And I think it's Chance, because the little kid's the one who starts to hear it first.
Okay.
And he's calling, like, Chance, here, boy, come on. And, like, they're all like, what, buddy? Chance isn't... And then they start hearing the barks. It's like, what? I don't believe it.
Oh, my God.
And Chance comes over the hill. And, by this point, he's just like, oh, Jamie, my human. I'm ready to be a good boy. And stuff like this. And then Sassy comes up over the hill. And then Peter's like, huh? Like, looking all hopeful over the hill. And just nothing. And so he's just like, it was too old. It was too far. I knew he wouldn't make it. And I'm like, wow, bitch. How dare you? He came so many miles and you just give the fuck up on him. Go over the hill, asshole. Go check. Maybe he fell asleep. I don't know. But anyway, Shadow does show up. He's still limping. So he needs to go to a vet. Or get you old yellered immediately.
Bruh.
He's in pain. Put him down. Look, I need glue.
Oh.
It's not even dogs. It's horses. But, or cows if you look at Elmer's. But, isn't that fucked up? It's made with cow parts and their logo is a cow. A smiling cow. I'm happy that I died for your glue. But yeah, Shadow makes it, and they're all like, yay!
Happy family.
And then Chance eats a turkey.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. It's a very chill movie. Like, it's not like some, epic or anything like that. But it's just a cool, chill, like, midday movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's a childhood classic. And it's one that I had the DVD for.
Look, it's like not everything is streamable, folks. Our choices are limited.
Well, that is streamable, but it's on Disney Plus. But what happened was I just went to Cat and I was like, pick something. Preferably something that I have right here because I don't want to have to pay to rent something on Amazon or something. She goes, okay, and picked that. Yeah. So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I still like that movie. I still think it holds up.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it because I think I was kind of like with the Rudolph thing where it's very obviously more of a kids movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's an all ages movie, but it leans heavily more towards the kids. And that's probably why it didn't grab me so much. But I could see why I would have. I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm like, okay, let's think of Cat's kid brain. I didn't grow up around dogs or animals or anything like that, but I thought they were cute. I thought they were nice. So I think Kid Me would have liked the movie quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, just it's a cute, chill movie.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say about it, or?
Because I made a few different notes. Like, okay, the scenery of California, gorgeous
Hmm.
throughout the whole movie.
Well, it's not all California.
Well, yeah, I guess, but I guess that.
I think some of it is supposed to be like other neighboring states.
And then, I mean, and through the movie too, you kind of have you kind of get flashes back with the humans and what's going on there.
Mm.
And there was one point in the movie where I was thinking, like, man, Peter just really misses his dog, like to a point of obnoxiousness. And then I had to step back and realize
His dog's missing in the woods.
well, he is now living in an unfamiliar area because
None of his friends.
with none of his friends, with a
New
man
stepdad.
with a man that his mom just married, and the reason why he had to leave, his dog is missing.
Mm. Not just his dog, his brother's dog and his sister's cat.
Like, of course that boy's gonna be torn up. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit. But like, I had to. So
He's basically like gender swap him and get rid of the dog subplot, and you've got the girl from Inside Out. Like, he's not in a good way.
and and I was thinking, and like, again,
He's not having a good time.
I'm kind of like I should probably do that. Or so I actually went and rewatched the movie again, like the next day, at least some of it, which was hard in some ways because rewatching the same movie again.
I'm sure you got watching fatigue.
Yeah, but I kind of, in a way, because the first time you watch it at the end, where Peter's like, yeah, Dad, and I'm like, when the fuck did this happen? And then the second time,
It was after the missing posters.
yeah, my brain somehow didn't make that connection that that Peter caught
He
on
starts
to
calling
that.
him Dad because he sees that he's trying.
Yeah, so I didn't catch that the first time around for some reason.
Yeah, and like he, it's like, why didn't he tell me about this? Well, he was trying to give you space because he thought you were mad at him. It's like, oh shit, he is trying to take me into account. Fuck, being an asshole, which does show some emotional growth for Peter at that age, because he's just like, man, I'm the asshole here. I mean, like, yeah, my dog's missing, but he couldn't have known that was gonna happen. I'm a dick. All right. I gotta try to make this better.
It was kind of fun, and it was also kind of funny how he was trying to describe his animals to the cop at the
Yeah.
police station.
I'm trying to do it vaguely because he knew that as soon as they knew that it was a dog,
They would tell him to get the fuck out.
Yeah, they would tell him to get the shit out. Motherfucker, this is San Francisco Police Department. You got like drug dealers and shit to kill. You can't go looking for your dog. And I'm like, actually, I think you guys do also handle that. In fact, I'm pretty sure San Francisco Police Department probably is a big enough police operation to have a separate area where they just handle that in the station. But whatever, movie.
But yeah.
Maybe they didn't in '93.
But yeah, I can't. Because I guess the movie, like, because I was thinking, like, again, you said it's kind of a chill movie where outside of like some things obviously that can't happen, and like you can't like flip around some scenes or whatnot, but it felt like every scene was kind of separate. Like, oh, the dogs are doing this thing while they travel now they're doing this thing and this thing.
Yeah.
So it was a little.
It very easily could have been a mini series. I could see, like, if they ever do it again, I could see them doing it for a mini series. In fact, I'm honestly surprised, because I don't know how successful Homeward Bound was, but it was successful enough to get a sequel.
Yeah. And
Lost in San Francisco.
And I was thinking about that. Did they make the sequel like pretty close after the making the first one, just because they wanted to, keep you want to keep the talent together.
Let's see.
The talented doggos and Kims.
Trying to see if I can find.
And they're lost in San Fran. I wonder if I find the second one like interesting, because it's more of like a urban.
Well, I can tell you right now, most of the scenes of San Francisco are actually Vancouver.
Womp womp.
Because it always is.
Do I have to Google what year Homeward Bound 2 came out?
You might, because I'm not seeing it on the disc or anything.
Release date. Wow, my typing was so bad. 1996.
Okay, so 3 years after. Meaning it was probably a different dog that played Shadow. Anyway.
Oh no.
Actually, it might have been different dogs for all of them. I doubt that they were keeping tabs on the individual dogs that played them.
You know
In
what?
fact, they probably had multiple dogs that were playing the like the animals, because they probably had to have different dogs that were trained for different things.
Oh, fuck, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like Lassie, they would have different, like they had, I think, 3 dogs alternate between who was playing Lassie, and like I think 2 of them were actually male.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's a dog. Who's gonna care? Who's gonna be looking that hard? Geeks on the internet, probably. Like, just, it's like, I'm going to investigate every frame of this show to find inconsistencies, and then make a top 10 list.
Make a top 10 list for the YouTubes, or make a very, very, very long Reddit post about it.
Hell yeah. And here you can see William Kirk's, or is it William Kirk? No. William Kirk. William Shatner.
I'm like, who the fuck is he talking about?
I combined his actual name and his character name. William Shatner, who plays James T. Kirk. But that scene in Family Guy where the nerd is just like, and this is Shatner, this is his stunt double, this is Shatner, this is his stunt double, and this is Shatner, but you can see his stunt double's coffee mug on that rock. We geeks have too much time on our hands because we're not getting laid. You're welcome for our sacrifice. But yeah, so yeah, I like the movie. It's a very, inconsequential movie, kind of, but it's also kind of impressive just in that it must have taken a lot of work, because, like, I'm sure a lot of that stuff was done on location, because why not?
And I mean, even I guess even with
impressive animal trainers.
Even with like trained animals, like it has to be hard to like capture the exact kind of shots you're trying to go for with.
Yeah, I think that probably working with animals at the very least double or triples your amount of takes that you have to do. Mm-hmm. Like, so it must have been a very big labor to make that movie, but they did it, and they did it twice.
Mm-hmm. But I would, even though I had a little bit of fatigue of rewatching again, not doing that again, but it was good in some ways. But I could probably, if I need to like go back and look at something, I could just do like that scene. Mm. But I'd be more inclined, like, let's just pretend like like 50 years from now, I have my own little cats running around, and I'm
50 years from now?
Yeah, I'm not.
You're thinking of having kids in your 70s?
I'm just saying the possibility of me ever being like, I'm ready to have children. Probably won't be until then.
In your 70s? What, so they can make it to 10 and pay for your funeral? If that? Fucking shit. I'm not gonna have kids by 40 because I don't want them to pay for my funeral at 5. Because I know I'm not making it to 50.
Bruh. I'm
an idiot. I will get myself killed somehow doing that beforehand.
But any hoozles. Like, if I'm like, it's a kind of a chill day. What movie should I sit down? Or like, my kids want to watch a movie. What should I watch them? And I'd probably be more inclined to put in Homeward Bound over Rudolph, even during the holiday season. I don't know, just something about it. It's just like, yeah, cute doggo movie.
Well, I'm sure that during holiday season, opinion will change the more holiday movies we watch.
Maybe.
Speaking of which, I already know that for Thanksgiving this year, we're going to be revisiting Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because that is the quintessential Thanksgiving movie.
And
it starts on Halloween, ends on Christmas, aka it's a Thanksgiving movie.
That's how that works.
Yeah. I mean, what the fuck else would we watch for a Thanksgiving movie? Like that one recent CGI turkey movie? No.
I don't think either of us want to do any digging on the Hallmark Channel trying to find a bad Thanksgiving movie.
The Thanksgiving Shoes. The sequel to the Christmas Shoes. Now his mom has twice the cancer.
What?
The Christmas Shoes is a country Christmas song about a little kid asking for a free pair of shoes because he can't afford them. And his reasoning is because his mom is dying of cancer tonight, and also it's Christmas Eve.
What?
Yep. And they made a movie about it.
Was it a feel-good movie?
No.
Oh, gosh.
She dies.
Oh. I was just wondering if they were going to try to make a good,
No.
feel-good movie out of that.
No. If I remember correctly, she fucking dies. Yeah. It's fucked. It's real fucked.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Shame on you, whoever made that song. Shame on you. You manipulative, evil bastards.
And now here we...
Shame.
And now after it's like you did some ranting, we talked about a movie, and now you're doing more ranting.
Shame. I have opinions.
He has very many of them.
I have notes.
He's just holding a remote.
I have notes. Play on words.
Boo.
But yeah, I think that's it for us this time.
It's again pretty simple movie overall.
Next time we're continuing the accidental Disney trend because
what are we watching?
Thanks
again?
to that merger, guess what's now on Disney Plus?
That's right. All right.
Now here's something that's a bit interesting. This is a bit of a role reversal here. The first one of the episode, because I've read part of the book, seen clips of the movie. She's read the whole book because I let her borrow it because I got bored. We're watching The Princess Bride.
Oh, hell yeah. I am so ready to just try to lead. You're going to say Kat's going to try to take the driver's seat. Whee!
Bye, everybody.
Bye.